Facebook back when we launched Newsfeed? I don't know if anyone, okay, a couple hands. Newsfeed we turned on at 3 in the morning one night, and the whole idea was that it would take in real time the changes that your friends had made and present them in one long feed rather than having to go to each profile each day. And on that day, we had 6 million people on the website at the time. 1 million people in 24 hours joined the I Hate Newsfeed group. We had protests outside the office. We had armed guards that had to walk us to our cars because of all the death threats. I'm not kidding. And all the news trucks, satellites outside and everything. And literally, there was a staged walkout set for the next week. I don't know how you walk out on a website, but they were ready for the following Tuesday to have the first big website walkout. And just to show, if we had never done that, Facebook would have failed. I mean, the idea that to this day people would come back each day, start at A, and look at each profile. And I think now Newsfeed, as any of you who use the site know, is the homepage of the site. It's where the average user spends 28 out of the 30 minutes a day on Facebook is spent on that one page. So we've gone through a lot of pain to get to where we've been. And I think every time we launch something, it gets a little bit. Our users freak out a bit. And we basically have to stay strong because in 99% of the times it's been the right thing to make the change. And I think just in terms of showing how if we had listened to our users, we never would have succeeded. In terms of what they do, really, it's pretty baffling the amount of time that each user can spend each month on our website compared to what they do on other sites. And again, the majority of this time is staring at that newsfeed, just scrolling up and down, looking at in real time what your friends are doing, which is, again, something that almost half of our users protested when it first came out. We, over the last 6 years, have gone from Mark thinking advertising was evil, but it was a necessary evil. Then we came up, and I think it was, I don't remember, I think it was either Mark or I think it was Mike Murphy, who was our old head of sales, came up with this thing that was sales funds innovation. So basically we made this point and made this speech to the entire organization that the engineers wouldn't get their salaries, wouldn't get their computers. We wouldn't be able to afford the servers that hosted those 60,000 pictures from that one kid. We wouldn't be able to host the servers that do Newsfeed unless there was sales. So basically, if you stopped supporting sales or stopped liking ads or stopped trying to work with us to make sure that we were a profitable company, we would also, you wouldn't get your the server you needed to build this new thing, and the site would have to cap its user growth, or we'd have to start, God forbid, charging users, which was the thing that a lot of people said should have been our business model. And there is no successful model of people charging users on the internet. People just don't do it unless you can get it tacked on as part of a fee they're already paying, like part of their cell phone fee or cable bill or whatever. The number one thing that people do on Facebook is announce relationships and big monumental changes. I got a job, I got a car, I got a relationship, or we're having a baby, or we're expecting whatever. So we're now putting a cluster together that is just women who have in the last 6 months said that they're expecting. Because from the moment that the first 3 months you don't tell anyone, then you tell everyone, and from that moment you then go into mom mode and you start figuring out your brand preferences. So the majority, what Pampers has 99% of babies in the U.S. that leave the hospital leave in a Pampers diaper because they have a deal with every hospital in the U.S. But over 50% of those switch to either Huggies or store brand, and so they're saying why? They're leaving the hospital. This is what the doctor is putting them in. Problem is because Huggies does a thing where they'll sponsor all of your baby showers. So before you even have your baby, you do a thing with Huggies, and they send you all these, cups and signs and gifts and balloons and everything, so that you can have a nice Huggies. So they're getting to you before you even get the baby out of the hospital. So now we're basically saying, from the moment you tell the world that you're going to have a baby, we can get Pampers in front of that person. So that is the number one day of importance, because that's when mom mode switches to I now am going to figure out my brand preferences, even though I'm not going to have this child for another 6 months.